Let's set the record straight. The Flash is not even close to being the greatest superhero movie ever made, despite what some might try to tell you. But hey, I can confidently say that it's definitely one of the finest offerings from the DCEU. It's a wild mix of fan service, exciting action sequences, a heartfelt story, and oh boy, a whole lot of dodgy CGI. And it's pretty fun actually. I must admit I was a bit skeptical with this one. I wasn't particularly thrilled with any of the trailers, partly due to the shoddy CGI and the reliance on nostalgia with Michael Keaton's Batman. It gave off the impression of being a desperate attempt to throw everything but the kitchen sink into the DCEU's final stand. Who cares? None of this will matter anyway, right? That being said, I saw The Flash and I must say I was pleasantly surprised on how much fun I had with this movie. The film is loosely based on the Flashpoint comic series, and as a fan of it, I'm glad they made the smart decision to ignore all of the most complex aspects of the books to deliver a more streamlined version of the event. As Barry Allen discovers that he can travel through time, he's presented with a life-altering question. Can he go back in time and prevent his mother's death that resulted in his father's wrongful conviction? That's a very interesting premise with high personal stakes. I liked how Barry's grief and obsession with changing the past makes him a walking irony. The fastest man alive is stuck in time in his own life. He has no friends, no love life, and all of his efforts and energy are spent trying to prevent that someone else suffers the same fate as him, which makes him a true hero, but not the best guy to be around with. From the very first minutes of the film, I realized I was about to experience something wacky and exciting. From the way that the opening titles do a false start with Barry being recognized as a celebrity to the following scenes involving Ben Affleck's Batman in a cool chase, and then some nightmare-inducing CGI babies, Andy Muschietti sets a light tone and proves that he's much more than just a horror director. Well, here he shows he's a creative force to be reckoned with behind the camera. He delivers some of the most inventive action scenes in a superhero movie that seem to be ripped straight out of a comic book. This guy has fun with the concept, knows how to push the boundaries and take risks, even if sometimes it's too silly for its own good. He has crafted an ambitious movie about alternate timelines, time travel, complete with Back to the Future rules, the only valid rules, and by giving us a new perspective on not just what super speed looks like, but how it feels like. But you know what happens when your superhero has all of these crazy powers? You need a lot of visual effects, right? Okay, let's address the colossal elephant in the room, the CGI. For a good 70% of the movie, it's bad. I mean, Dwayne Johnson Man Scorpion in The Mummy Returns levels of bad. I can't believe someone gave the okay to this in 2023. But here's the thing, if the CGI wasn't crucial to the story, I could maybe let it slide, but guess what? It's in every major scene, and it's so bad that my suspension of disbelief was shattered. Honestly, my heart goes out to the talented animators who work on this. They deserve better. I could excuse the Chronoball scenes because they're meant to look unreal and distorted, and I'm not quite sold on that idea, but the rest, not so much. Anyway, even though the CGI sometimes took me out of the experience and I got the sense that the script went through many rewrites, Muschietti's direction never loses sight of the heart of the story. At its core, this movie revolves around Barry Allen's heartfelt journey of grief through heroism and learning to let go of the past. And let me tell you, Ezra Miller really shines in this one. He delivers a downright terrific double performance, bringing two versions of Barry to life, where he gets to fully explore every aspect of the character. The tension and conflict generated because old Barry was confronted with young Barry, who had the life he always wanted, and watching him have to deal with that while also trying to save the world. He gives us a glimpse into all different sides of Barry, and it's a joy to watch. Speaking of a joy to watch, it's a delight to see Michael Keaton back again in the Batsuit. Even though the action scenes where Batman is doing all of this acrobatic stuff are sometimes kinda goofy, because let's face it, Keaton is like 70 years old. But he's Batman. It's awesome, and Danny Elfman's theme still gives me the chills. But his acting? I don't know. All I can say is that he's a pro and delivers a fine and apt performance that serves the story well, but it doesn't particularly stand out or manages to steal the show. It's just fine. Sasha Calle's performance had its moments, but I wasn't fully on board, you know. There were instances where her delivery fell a bit flat, and her overall portrayal felt like the cliché badass woman we've seen 1,000 times before. I was hoping for something more unique and nuanced, or something resembling a character. not just a mere plot device. But let's talk about my boy Michael Shannon for a sec. The man straight up admitted that this whole thing wasn't a satisfying experience for him, and boy, does it show. It's like he just showed up on set, learned his lines, and cashed his check. You can almost sense his lack of enthusiasm in his performance. Moving on, I liked how the film recontextualizes the events we saw in Man of Steel, but with a different outcome, culminating in a very chaotic but ultimately exciting third act that has some unexpected twist in it. But at the same time, the CGI made it feel like I was watching a cutscene from a video game, where our heroes lack any weight, and while it's focused, the camera seems all over the place. Also, I didn't like the desert setting. I know it's to appease those people that complain about the destruction in Man of Steel, but it's visually unappealing, and the editing is a bit messy at times. So much so that the big emotional beats in the final battle didn't quite work for me. But man, that heart-wrenching ending hit me right in the feels. It was a big emotional conclusion to Barry's story, and it was done beautifully. All in all, as a fan, I had a blast watching The Flash. Muschietti manages to make a feel-good story where Barry Allen finally has his time to shine, and does it superbly with a well-crafted and emotional arc. Also, the movie is an homage to all eras of the DC universe, while also feeling like a swan song to the Snyderverse, which I'm a fan of, coming full circle where it all started with Man of Steel. Sure, not every joke lands, it tries to please everybody, and that pesky CGI brings some moments down. But you know what? It's a great time of the movies. It succeeds as a fun superhero movie with lots of action and a ton of heart. I mean, it even made me cry. And to me, that is money well spent. So anyway, go watch The Flash and form your own opinion and let me know what you think of it in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and consider subscribing to my channel for more movie related content. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.